Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now it's your turn to come to Belgrade, is it? Yeah. Now it's your turn. Yeah. Just we got that one settled. So hello guys. We already spoke about how great the venue is, and it's really, it's awesome. I never been in a dome room. I don't think that I will ever be. So I would like to say thank you for all the organizers for having me here. I'm really enjoying. I'm gonna tweet about these slides, but if you're on your computers and you don't like to see one chubby guy in front of you, you can see just on the slides.com. I'll be tweeting about this one. If you add /live, you can follow along as I go through the slides. So today, I would like first to say thank you and wow to someone that made this logo. I really loved it. That was one of the reasons that I applied. No, I'm joking. It's not the logo. It's the Nicholas and the guys. Once again, thank you so much for having me here. Yeah, this is an awesome logo. I really loved it. So yeah, today we're going to talk about team development with Sage. Just so you know, I applied with a team development team, and I'm defending their colors. That's why I decided my first WordCamp talk to be about the teams and team development. So yeah, this talk is also my first, same as Milenko. Why use Sage? Why use the roots? I like the idea of starter teams. I hate spending time on the things that I don't need. But before we go and before we dig in what's the Sage, we need to just step back a little bit and talk about what's the roots, what's the thing behind this one. Currently, Sage is at version 8. I'll say X because I don't know if it's 2 or 3. I think it's 2. So until version 8, we were using the roots team. Now roots became like the tool framework, WordPress framework, and one of the things that uses is the Sage as the team, starter team. There's a Trellis, there's a Bedrock. We're gonna go through the slides with that one as well. So let's go. You can just, while you're on your phones or later on, you can just get them on Twitter or visit their website. Also GitHub is huge for them. Just so you know, Roots really helps you build the better WordPress sites faster. But how come it's faster? Why would you do all over again things that you don't need to do all over again? Let's go back like little bit. Like, I want to develop a theme. Okay, so what would I need to do? Like, what is the old-fashioned way? I'll have to navigate to the WordPress WP. Sorry, my Serbian, we pronounce WordPress completely different, and it's going to be a struggle. But WP content folder, we're going to locate the themes folder. Then within that folder, we'll have to create another theme folder. Then we have to create index.php, put some content in it, not the silence is golden. You need to do style.css, and you're redoing that again. Come on, get me some coding, but no. You're adding the style.css. You need to put the header. How many of you ever typed in style.css from your head? No hands, thank you. We always, oh yeah, you had to do that. Like, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. So you have to copy from some theme. That's what I usually do. I use from 2015, 14, some default theme. I just copy it over and just set me as an author because I'm doing it. Yeah. So you have to do that all over again. Then you have to go functions.php, header, footer, sidebar, everything. And then after that, you have to start developing. You don't need to do that. I don't like doing that because if you're doing all over again, you're like, I get easily bored with things that I don't need doing. So beside Roots and beside Sage starter theme, I highly suggest using the underscores. The guy in the first row right in front of me is one of the contributors. Thank you, Slobodan. So why I suggest the underscores? Because it's developed by Automatic, and we use it for development of the default WordPress themes. And it's really good. And the fact that I hate it was when they introduced like the CSS, which comes with 1,000 hours of of a progress like in front. So when I hate doing it, like, okay, I got a huge CSS, but now you can use the SAS for development, and it's really good because you can just download the underscore starter theme. You can just install the WPSerbia plugin, and you can just on your WordPress theme, you can just edit the SAS files, and it will automatically this plugin will automatically compile CSS and show it to you. So once again, today we're going to be talking about Sage and the root starter theme. It uses Gulp, it uses Bower, it uses Bootstrap. That is something that's implemented. You can remove completely Bootstrap if you don't like it. Personally, I'm a fan, but if you don't like it, you can just completely remove it and put the Zerb's foundation or wherever you pronounce it. Another thing that I mentioned from the roots, it's Bedrock. Bedrock is a project boilerplate. You can see the things that comes with Composer. Everyone is into Composer. So far, I haven't tested it, so please don't ask me anything about it. And the last but not the least, they recently introduced Trellis. Trellis was it was the Ansible, something that I haven't done. I'm a front-end developer, and something that I think they won't be doing, won't be using as well. So why would you use a starter theme? If I haven't convinced you already, why you should, and if you want like to do all over again and that, because if I haven't convinced you, this is the reason you should use this one, because Latin does. And if you don't believe me, the guy even tweeted about it. So I was so thrilled that I even retweeted that one favorite. No, of course, this is a joke. This is not Latin. So yeah. Well, I'm in Sweden. Like, besides Latin, you have really good movies and ABBA, the Dancing Queen and everything. So yeah. So back on the topic. I said that Sage is not a framework. It's just a starter theme. If you are using that one, and I do highly suggest it, please don't refer it as a framework or whatever. It's just a starter theme. You can enjoy it. I mentioned, and it's developed on the GitHub until version 7. It was known as Roots. Now it's the Sage, and it has 6,000 plus stars, which is great. Why it's great? Because as soon as they introduced the Bootstrap for alpha, we got a new branch for the roots, and you can just play along with the Sage and Bootstrap 4. It's just a perfect amount of boilerplate. How come? Because if you don't want to use, as I said, if you don't want to use Bootstrap, you can just remove it. You don't need to. You're not obligated to. Hello, Marco. I wasn't late on your presentation. Yeah, so it also comes one of the features. It's the image optimization, like that one as well. Because if you ever seen Gulp and what it does when it compiles and everything, it optimizes your image. And I don't know if it's really doing that, but I like seeing that one on my terminal, like optimize 2.5 kilobytes. Yeah, give me that. I want that one. So how it's easy to start a new project? We won't be doing like that, going into WordPress, WP content themes folder, blah blah, yapa yapa, creating all the files, because this is the starter, and we going to clone it. But before, here is the awesome 5.4 PHP version requirement, which is awesome. The guys, I'm going to share a link with you. Also, they have the radio, and they're kind of making a couple of laughs about 5.2 support of the WordPress. But 5.4, we will be needing Git. You'll need Node. And yeah, the first thing that you need to do is like going to your WP config and set your environment to development. Why would you do that? Because if you're not set the environment, it will automatically use the dist folder of the Gulp. So this is the first thing that I do when I create a theme. Just go there, WP config file, and setting the correct environment. This is the line that you need to use when you're closing the GitHub repo into your new theme folder. Or once you're there, you just run through a terminal, navigate to your theme folder, go there and run npm install, which will install all the modules that are in package.package.json file. Also, after that one finishes, you'll be running the Bower install. That's in Serbian. Yes. I forgot to mention that we also Sage uses Bower, which is the package management for frontend. So you run Bower install, and it will install all the packages needed for your dependencies, listed in dependencies. Sorry, Bower's JSON file. So you can just install that one, running those two commands, and that theme, after running this command, after running Gulp, it will compile everything that needs to compile. It will optimize those images that I was talking about, 2.4 kilobytes or whatever, and you can use that one. I saw the production websites that are using the roots theme just as is, no changes made, and it's working, it's operational. But if you want to dig into, there are a couple of more Gulp commands that comes with a Sage that we can run. I intentionally didn't set Gulp Watch. First, I'm going to introduce Gulp Production. What Gulp --production does, it will compile all the assets for you, and it will remove all the source maps in your CSS file. You know that with every CSS file, alongside that comes a copy with all the mappings on that compiling, like on the line, that yappa comes that. So it removes it, and it completely prepares it for your production. So after that, while you're developing, you will be using this one. This one is awesome, and I think that was the reasons I'm using it. Gulp Watch. Before Gulp is introduced in version 8 until version 8. When it was roots, we were using Grunt, which was slower, and that was the reason they changed it to Gulp. Now Gulp Watch, as you play along with your SCSS file and your JavaScript file, it watches over those files, optimizes them, compiles and whatever. So another cool feature, it's a browser sync. We watched today, I forgot which talk, when you mentioned something about you're changing your CSS file, then you need to, I'm sorry, I'm going to again refer as the guy from WP Engine. I forgot Edmund, sorry, yeah. Really cool presentation, really enjoyed it, thank you. So if you're like changing something in your CSS file, then you need to compile it, then minify it. Then you have to look at your CSS file, then you have to reload your browser. That's time consuming. And something that I really hate doing. I even forgot when was the last time I made some change and then went to the browser and hit refresh. That was when I had to do it on some production site. It was a hotfix. I changed something like really directly via FTP, and just refresh. I really got. I forgot because browser sync completely changed the way I develop. Why? Because within the assets file, you have the manifest JSON file, and you can set your dev URL within that file, and it will watch for that file. If you have the project name, you have to change the dev URL to something like localhost on some port, and doing the project, and it watches for your file, for all the changes to your files, and whenever you change something in CSS, it injects in your page, and it automatically like kind of refreshes, which is awesome because there is nothing wrong with injecting CSS into your page. You're just looking at some page and you can just go into I use Sublime. So you can just use Sublime, add some CSS, and just inject that one. Like you can see the changes almost instantly. Sorry. There's also Live Reload plugin for Chrome. That you can just change something through inspect element, some CSS that will just inject into this Sublime, and then that will compile, and it will just save it for your browser. Now I'm going to talk about going through theme files and what comes with the Sage. If you have everything set up, you have the WP config file, you have the dev URL set, everything set, you're ready to go. The thing that comes with your clone, it's a couple of folders. You've seen this one: fonts, assets, fonts, images, scripts. It comes a little bit organized. You can follow along that one. You don't need to. You're not obligated to as well. There's a lang folder because Sage is completely translatable, and we know how translations are important to WordPress and all the users. So you have to follow along this one. You can follow along this one. There's a pod file that you can just translate to your own language. It's not like I did it, but I'm one who's suggesting it. So the most important, the lib folder, where you want to change the enqueue additional CSS, JavaScript, the assets.php file, a couple of really files that are really important. Config.php, let me just check, titles, yeah, init, init.php, where you can initiate another menus on, you just clone that one and you'll see what's with that. Of course, templates and template parts are completely supported, and that's what are we smart enough to use. So what the concept that Sage stands for, yeah, I can use stands for, is the dry. Yeah, when I start like, what? Yeah, so I look at your faces, so yeah, it's dry. And that means don't repeat yourself. It's a good concept, and I really loved it. That was one of the major hookups for me, because in the WordPress, we're constantly overwriting something. Like if you want a page, then you have to overwrite, then you have to but we need to be, if you want to be competitive, you need to use this concept and stick to this concept as long as it's possible. It's not always possible. The next step with that one is, of course, yeah. Let me just allow you to read this one. What it does. Comparing to dry, there is also wet. That means write everything twice. That's the basic theme development if you want to theme about template, and you want to just overwrite your page.php. You have to like create page-about.php. Then you're overwriting something that you already set in page.php. That's this concept. But of course, and last but not the least, there is cry. And cry, it like continually repeating yourself, like you're doing all over again, and you're happy. You're happy as long as it works. But I think that we're all much smarter than that. So with theme templates, I'm going to introduce a couple of changes, something that's not natively, yeah, let's say that way, supported by default theme templates hierarchy in WordPress. It's the base.php. Base.php file is something that's really been used in Sage, and it represents the template sorry, a template wrapper. Yeah, it's a wrapper word that I'm looking for. And within that file, we want to keep everything dry. How come? We are using the base.php, and within that file, we are requiring, we're using get header function, we're using get sidebar, we're using get footer, and on the other files or whatever, we are just using the conditional tags, like if this is the page, this is the front page, use header dash front page.php. But this file needs to be dry as possible. So, but if you need to overwrite that file, you can just use it. Okay, so it respects the WordPress templates, and if you want to change it, like you want to that file on base file that you want to use it for the front page, you can just add it like base dash front page.php, and that file Sage knows which file to call, so it changes and uses that file. If you want to extend some of the templates, if you want to, this thing that I said, if you want some front page, static front page, you can just copy page.php, made it front page.php, and use that one. Sage will know to load that file. Also about page, and I believe I have gallery. Yeah. Also supports custom post types, and if you have something that you want to your custom post type, single post type page, if you can just use the single dash custom post type .php and use that one as well. Something that really bothers me, and I promised myself to have this slide. This is supposed to be the first slide. Then I moved it to the 10th slide. Then I moved it like in the middle. Then I pushed it all over at the end. So keep functionalities outside of your theme, please. Please don't use your functionalities, use plugins for that. Don't call custom post type, don't register custom post types within your theme. That's not cool. So as you saw on my first slide, I'm using slides.com. I will be tweeting about that one. So these are all the links. So you can just click on the Sage Docs or the and go there and check out everything. I think I would be super happy if at least a couple of you visit it and just use it. What I do suggest is to get their ebook. It's really good. It's I think around $40 or something. I got it and it's really good. So I highly suggest you to buy that one. Also, if you're a fan of podcast, the guys are doing the podcast. It was the episode 4 recently, and whenever they introduce some feature or anything, they're blabbing about it, and it's funny. I don't know. Maybe I'm just geek. So yeah, once again, roots.io @rootswp on Twitter. Check them out. A couple of things about me. I work for Devana Technologies, the company that's behind ManageWP. I pressed another slide. I still do. I'm kidding. Okay. Yep. I'm also the founder and organizer of the WordPress Serbia. Hello, Marco. Yeah, that one. Yeah, the WordCamp Belgrade was this year. Thank you, Nicholas, for being there. It will be also the next year, so I invite you all to come. Also one of the lecturers at the WordPress Academy in Belgrade, and proud member of the team review team. That's why I chose to speak about teams and team development to introduce the framework that starter theme that I'm using. I made a mistake. Funny. Yeah. So to introduce that one, because a couple of us agreed that every WordCamp there at least the least number of the talks are about teams, and team development, we can all see lots of about, sorry guys, but Vagrant, optimization, servers, sorry Milenko, lots of plugin development and everything, but about the team development, not so much, about design itself. So I had to talk about that one. I wanna say sorry to all my Facebook friends. I have around 2,000 friends on Facebook. That I'm so sorry about. My every post is about WordPress, but I am WordPress enthusiast, and I have a couple words about Sweden. No, I'm kidding. No, it won't be anything rude. I want to thank my girlfriend for letting me come to Sweden, because as we all know, it's a country of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, ABBA, which I personally love, and good movies. My name is Milan. You can just shoot me an email or visit my website mi.rs, or you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or whatever with Lanche86. And I believe this is how you say thank you very much. If I have offended anyone, oh, okay, that's good. So like I saw just a pointer and like, no, okay. So if you have any questions, I will be gladly answer one of those. Thank you. Yeah, well, yeah, no, I'll do it. Yeah, it's my presentation. No, I'm kidding. I don't know if it's on, so just check. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You mentioned that it comes with Bootstrap, but you don't have to use it.
Yeah.
So do you just exclude it from Bower and then don't install the dependency? So like the HTML doesn't have any classes from Bootstrap.
Well, then you have to go through the HTML files. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a basic Bootstrap class set up in the HTML files.
Yeah. There are a couple of just in the HTML you can see for a grid, and let's say for grid, if you want, divs have the classes for prepare for Bootstrap.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what CSS would you get when you remove Bootstrap? Is there then any CSS?
No, there's a the couple of really basic beside Bootstrap. There are a couple of resets, normalize. There are also, I believe, the WP I forgot. WP, for the align left, align right within the WordPress. That file, WP helper, that file comes, but you can just remove it. I've never. I don't intend to, because I was really a fan of Zerb's Foundation, but now I completely switched to Twitter Bootstrap, and never moved it. But more questions? Guy with the camera? No, kidding.
How well does Sage work with WooCommerce? And if you want to use your own styles and not use the bundle styles with your WooCommerce, for example, how much work is it to make it look good? Yeah, well, you know that we need to rewrite all the files, rewrite all the files for WooCommerce if we want to change it. But with the default set of files, it really works good, because I had some project that I totally forgot but haven't got to. Change for the WooCommerce files, and like single product page and everything, but with the default styles it worked. Like it's not the design that I wanted, like it's not the design that was in Photoshop files, but it worked. Like you have the single page, okay, it recognized all the Bootstrap did all the figures, all the images, titles, and everything. It did all that for us. So with a, let's say, minor modification, you can just set whatever you want. Yep. Guy with the camera, second time? No? Still no questions?
Okay. Thanks a lot, Milan.
Yeah, thank you.